Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Sri Radha Krishna Go Gopinath Sam Kund Radha Kund Giridhardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadvip Dham ki jai. Swami Ito Bhaktivinoda ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamuna Mai ki jai. Tulasi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Swami Ito Bhaktivinoda ki jai. All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, please accept our humble obeisances. All glories to Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada. All glories to the assembled Vaishnavi devotees. And all glories to our revered speaker for today, His Grace, Ishvara Prabhu. Devotees, we thank you all for being here as always. Today is Monday, the 4th day of May, 2026. And it is a new beginning of another week. And we are honored to have His Grace with us. So Prabhuji, without further ado, we may put the verses on the screen and you may start speaking. Hare Krishna.
Gurave Gurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tad Bhaktaya Namo Namah Narayana Namaskritya Narayana Narottama Devam Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayat Nasapayiso Bhadreso Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatuttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Naistike Vede Ramane Chaiva Purane Bharate Tata Aravadya Chamade Chari Savata Giyatu Mukam Kativachala Pangu Langarache Gri Yakipata Bande Sri Guru Dinatari Paramananda Madhava Dhamma Pujita Katavota Paramo Nimasham Satan Vedam Vastavam Atavasu Shivadan Tapataya Mulana Sima Bhagavate Mahamuni Kritanki Vai Para Ishwara Sadi already Avarudeta Katavata Kishanam Nigama Kapata Kalitan Falan Sukamukan Rasangutan Vibata Bhagavatam Samalaya Mahura Urasika Bhagavaka Yashavasyasamana Yan Krishna Paramapurusha Bhakti Udapade Punsa Suka Moha Paya Paha Atoyam Brahmasutanam Bharatata Bininaya Gayatri Basharu Poso Vedata Paribimita Savabiditi Asanam Saram Saram Paribimita Savavedantam Saram Hi Sri Bhagavatam Vishate Tarasami Tasya Tiptasya Nayatyasya Rati Kuchit Namamo Vishnupadaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nivise Sasunyavadi Pashata Dishatarini Se Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So I'd like to thank everyone for being online this evening, my time in Vrindavan. For most of you, it will be your morning time. So it's always a pleasure for me to be speaking here to the devotees. So we're in the Srimad Bhagavatam, third canto. It's also nice to see Mitra Binda here. She's an old acquaintance of mine. Mitra Binda Mataji. So the Bhagavatam, 3rd canto, now in chapter 19. And this is dealing with the fight between Lord Varahadev and Hiranyaksha. So there were two brothers, Hiranyakashipu and then Hiranyaksha. So these two brothers, they were both formidable demons. Formidable demons who come, by whom both of them will have to fight with the Lord and both will be killed by the Lord. Just a few days ago, we celebrated the appearance day of Lord Shingadev, who came to kill Hiranyakashipu. And Hiranyaksha was a brother of Hiranyakashipu. But both of them, they were not really an ordinary personality. They were devotees in the spiritual world. Devotee in the spiritual world, and they were the Lord's associate in the spiritual world. They were in charge of the guards, those who look after the gates that lead to the palace of Lord Narayan. And Lord Narayan is the supreme, is God himself, and is God in the Vaikuntha planet, having all the opulences. So anyway, first I'm going to read some verses, and then we try to tell some stories of the Jan Vijay, who were the Lord's personal servants, and how they came to be demon. And of course, we already discussed this a few days ago when I was talking on the Lord Shingadev. Just maybe something, some mention maybe there. So text 17, center of text 17, which is on the board. Atoruda Sijam Mayam Yoga Maheswari Sarau Yam Vilokya Prajas Trustan Beni Resho Pasam Yaman. Translation by His Divine Grace, S. Bhaktivinoda Swami Prabhupada. Also some short purport by him. The demon, however, employed many conjuring tricks against the personality of Godhead, who is the Lord of Yoga Maya. At the sight of this, the people were filled with alarm and thought that the dissolution of the universe was near. Purport. The fighting enjoyment of the Supreme Lord with his devotees, who had been converted into a demon, appeared severe enough to bring about the dissolution of the universe. This is the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even the wavering of his little finger appears to be a great and very dangerous movement in the eyes of the inhabitants of the universe. Like in the previous verse, we read about how Hiranyaksha, how he, with his big face, he punched upon the chest of the Lord. Big Hiranyaksha. So Hiranyaksha was huge. His form was tall, like reaching the higher planets. It was a huge form, huge form. and he was walking in the ocean, fighting with the Lord. So it was very fierce and powerful fellow. During this fighting with the Lord, he smashed on the chest of the Lord. But his smashing, his pounding upon the chest of the Lord was described to be just like an elephant and been a flower being thrown at an elephant. So which means it was of no significance. So in one sense, it's the Lord's lila. Lila means play, vilas. So it's the Lord's lila. And just like purpose mentioned here in this purport here. He said the fighting enjoyment. So the Lord is enjoying this fighting, enjoying it. And he's enjoying this fighting with his devotee who have been converted to a demon. So the Lord is enjoying the fighting because it was his own wish. He wanted to release some fighting spirits. Because back in the spiritual world, the Lord was desiring so much to fight. After all, his energy, his power is so intense, immense power. So he was, he wanted to fight. But in the spiritual world, nobody can fight him. Everyone has the utmost reverence for the Lord. So nobody will fight. But these two devotees, these two associates, were in charge of the guarding the palace of the Lord. So they approached the Lord that, dear Lord, let us fulfill this desire of yours. You had a desire to fight, so allow us to fulfill your desires. And the Lord said, okay, it will come to pass. And then when the Kumaras, they came to the spiritual world. And as they came to the spiritual world, in Vaikuntha, the Kumaras, they were checked by John Vijay that how dare you come here? You naked boys, you cannot enter here. You should go back to where you come from. So the Kumaras became very annoyed. They became angry that, oh, how can you see duality in this place? Because there's no duality in the spiritual. How can you see? How can you tell? How can you say? So therefore, you are not fit to be here. You should go back to the material world. Go to the material world. So during that commotion between the Kumaras and Jan Vijay, Lord Narayan, so you know what is going on. He knew what is going on. So he was smiling. He was smiling. And when he was smiling, Lakshmi Devi asked him that, my Lord, why are you smiling? What's causing you to smile? And then the Lord asked Lakshmi that, okay, just follow me. Let us go. You will know what's causing my smile. And then the Lord came up to the scene to where Jan Vijay and the Kumaras, they were having this commotion going on. But it so happened that there are tulsi leaves on the lotus fruit of the Lord. And this tulsi leaf, the fragrance of this tulsi leaf, it enters the nostril of Kumaras. And when the fragrance entered their nostril, so the Kumaras, they became devotee. they became pure devotees. And then after they became pure devotees, so they realized what they have done, that, oh, we have delivered cause unto the associate of the Lord. This is a great offense, what we have done. And they actually wanted punishment from the Lord. So they prayed to the Lord that, our dear Lord, we didn't realize what we have done. This is very bad on us that we are caused your associate. If you so please, you can deliver us appropriate punishment that you think you deserve. So the Lord replied that, oh, don't worry, this is my own arrangement. I have arranged this myself. This is my own arrangement. And of course, now we should understand that Jan Vijay, they go to the material world and become demons. It's not a fall. It is not a fall, because after all, when the jivas in the material world is said to be a fallen condition, but of course, there's no falling from the spiritual world. Nobody can fall from the spiritual world. It's impossible. The falling is coming from the Tatasta region, not from the spiritual world. Because in the spiritual world, everyone is a devotee, and every living entity is fully cognizant. And if you think deeply of this line, which La Prabhupada put in this purport, he said, the fighting enjoyment of the Supreme Lord with his devotee. So they are devotee, they are not some entity who are fallen from the spiritual and then they become conditions for. But the Lord, he had some fight, he want to fight, he had fighting spirit, so therefore he made his devotee to become a demon so that they can fight with him. And only devotee could play that role. So one of the Vaishnava Acharya, Srila Vallabhacharya, so he was saying, he said that when the Lord comes to the world, when the Lord incarnates himself, he incarnates, and then he also performs pastimes. And the Lord, he chooses those who will be the devotees, and then those who will be the demons. The Lord chooses them. That this person will be the devotees, and that person will be the demons. Then the Lord will perform his pastimes, whereby the demons, the devotees, are said to be being harassed by the demons. So the Lord come, he protect the devotees, and then he kill the demons. They fight with demons and then kill them. But both of them, both the devotees and demons, they always required for the pastimes of the Lord. They are required always. So because they are required always for the Lord's pastime, so he creates the monarch. So devotees, certain devotees become demons, and then the Lord will give them a forgetfulness. We give them a forgetfulness so that these devotees will be completely absorbed in the mentality of being a demon. Because it's not that they know that, oh, I'm devotees and let me just amuse the Lord. They'll actually give them the mood, the birth of a demon, and then they fight with the Lord. And of course, the Lord is different. The Lord knows, But just like we have the story of Vitasura, who came to actually fight on behalf of the demigods. Vitasura was to fight on behalf of the demons against the demigods. But Vitasura was a devotee. He was not. He was actually happened to be an avatar of Chitraketu knowledge. So Vitasura was a devotee. So as a demons, he had a certain role to fulfill. But as a demon, he was actually, his consciousness was always being a devotee. His consciousness was always being a devotee. But he had to fight with Indra. And Indra, he has got a weapon which was made from the bone of a rishi, Daichi. So Indra, I mean, Vitasura didn't have a demoniac form, but his mentality was always a devotee. So when he was fighting with Indra, it was a very terrible fight that he was doing. He was doing with Indra. But at the same time, when he was fighting with Indra, he was always praying to the Supreme Lord. And when he was fighting with Indra, at one time, he was able to knock out the thunderbolt of Indra. He was able to knock it out, to knock it down. So after knocking out the thunderbolt of Indra, so Indra became discouraged because his thunderbolt has been knocked down by Vitasura. So Indra became discouraged. But Vitasura, he encouraged Indra. He said, "Oh, Indra, take up the weapon, take it up. Why should you be discouraged? Yeah, so you should face your enemy. Take out the weapon." Because after all, Vitasura know that this weapon of Indra is meant to eliminate him. So he was ready to face death because this weapon was meant to eliminate him. And then there was a philosophical discussion that took place between Indra and Vitasura. And then Indra realized that this person I'm fighting with is a devotee of the Lord. He's a devotee. Why am I fighting with him? He's a devotee of the Lord. Why am I fighting with him? But Vitasura, he won this fight because this fight has been ordained by the high authority. And that's why Indra was given a weapon to eliminate Vitasura. So even though Vitasura was actually encouraging and they said, no, you have to fight, and you have to overcome your enemy. So, and of course, big terrible fight, you will find this in the 6th canto of Bhagavatam. So eventually, Indra, he killed Vitasura. And of course, because Vitasura happened to be a devotee, so Indra now had a big problem because he just killed a devotee of the Lord. Now he had a big problem. So Indra found himself in a very, very uncomfortable situation. He found himself in a very, very uncomfortable situation. But he had to hide himself away from the heavenly planet. He actually got a severe reaction for that killing of Vitasura. So anyway, this is many, many pastimes that are like that. So demons and devotees, they are both creation of the Lord. And they are there when the Lord, in order to perform a certain pastimes. So as indicated in this line of this purport, whereby the Lord is fighting with his devotee, so he's actually enjoying the fight. But those who are observing this fighting, they are very, very alarmed that, oh, this is this fight, especially when Hiranyaksha, when he was, because when he found himself being unable to really match the strength of the Lord, so he unleashed magical tricks. He unleashed magical tricks, whereby it's like an illusion, whereby so many horrible entities have been portrayed and all that. And this is things that the Lord has to deal with. And then so when the demigods, many persons, when they saw this illusion which had been created by Vitasura, So they became alarmed. They said, "Oh, it looks like the universe is going to be destroyed. It looked like the dissolution of the universe is coming." So now let me read text 18. Prabhu Vayavas Chandas Tama Pansavan Airayam Digbyo Nipitu Grabanam Repana Epahita Iba. So translation to text 19, no, text 18. Fierce winds began to blow from all directions, spreading darkness occasioned by dust and hailstorms. Stones came in volleys from every corner, as if thrown by machine guns. So these are all tricks, illusory tricks, which were unleashed by Vitusura, because he wanted the Lord to be deceived, to be panicked by this illusion which he had created. Dionasta Bagana Brogai Sabi Stana Yitnubi Basa Bi Puyake Sastrig Vemota Sritik Chasakrit. That's text 19. The luminaries in outer space disappear due to the skies being overcast with masses of clouds, which were accompanied by lightning and thunder. The sky rained pus, hair, blood, stool, urine, and bones. It's all illusion. It's all illusion which have been created. Just like when Lord Krishna was fighting with Banasura. When Lord Krishna was fighting with Banasura also, Banasura was an associate of Lord Shiva. So that time also Banasura, he had created so many illusions to deceive Lord Krishna. He created many illusions. All right, text number 19. No, text 20. Giraya Pratya Drishyanta Nana Yoda Mucha Naga Devasaso Jatu Danya Suliyo Mutamo Daja. Translation. O sinless Vidura, mountains discharged weapons of various kinds, and naked demonesses, armed with tridents, appeared with their hair hanging loose. So this one has no purport. So it created the mountains, the witches, and all that. Text 21. Bahobe Yaksarakshobi Pachaswa Ratakunjarai Atatayi Bi Utsista Imsha Bajo Tivai Sasa. Translation. Cruel and savage slogans were uttered by hosts of ruffian yakshas and rakshas, who all either marched on foot or rode on horses, elephants, or chariots. They were saying so many nasty words, uncivilized language, which they were saying. All this just to see. This is all illusion. It's not really real. Text 22. Padoski Tana Mayanam Asuri na Bina Sayat Sudasana Stram Bhagavan Prayukta Daitan Tripat. Okay. Translation. And Papa Bachelor Proper. The Lord, the personal enjoyer of all sacrifices, now discharged his beloved Sudarshan, which was capable of dispersing the magical forces displayed by the demon.
Ishwara Prabhu Hare Krishna. I think your verse starts from 17 to 20.
Yeah, I know, but the 20 had no purpose.
Yeah.
So
Let
it
me
has no
see.
purpose. So I'm reading till 22.
22 is for tomorrow.
But that's no purpose. 20 has no purpose.
Yes, there are many verses in this chapter with no purpose or short purport. So the only purport to your verses today was the 17th.
So normally, our method is always whenever we have about when there are many verses like that, there's no purport. Normally, you keep reading till you reach the event with purports, and then they commented on that. So I read a purport.
Okay.
If another person is going to give the customer, he can also say the same. He can also elaborate further on the same.
All right.
So it's just very interesting.
It is.
That's a very interesting narration. That's
yes.
So I'm going to read the text 22.
Okay.
The Lord, the personal enjoyer of all sacrifices, now discharges beloved Sudarshan, which was capable of dispersing the magical forces displayed by the demon. Purport. Even famous yogis and demons can sometimes enact very magical feats by their mystic power. But in the presence of the in the presence of the Sudarshan chakra, when it is let loose by the Lord, all such magical jugglery is dispersed. The instance of the quarrel between Devasmani and Maharaj Ambarish is a practical example in this matter. Devasmani wanted to display many magical wonders, but when the Sudarshan chakra appeared, Devasmani himself was afraid and fled to various planets for his personal protection. The Lord is described here as tripartite, which means that he is the enjoyer of three kinds of sacrifices. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord confirms that he is the beneficiary and enjoyer of all sacrifices, penances, and austerities. The Lord is the enjoyer of three kinds of jaga. As further described in Bhagavad Gita, there are sacrifices of goods, sacrifices of meditation, and sacrifices of philosophical speculation. Those on the paths of Gyan, Yoga, and Karma all have to come in the end to the Supreme Lord, because Vasudevan Sabaniti, Bhagavad Gita 7:11, the Supreme Lord is the ultimate enjoyer of everything. That is the perfection of a sacrifice. And then that is another commentary to this verse by Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti. So he said, There are three variations here: Vyasana, Vinasakam, and Vinasayam. The object is in the genitive case. He who possesses 3 feet of Dharma, beginning with austerity, is called Tripat. He is the personification of Dharma. Or it can mean he who is the 3 oblations of sacrifice. So to say, Trayo Shepherd, the Lord has 3 feet in the form of these oblations. So 3 parts is being described in this purport. Actually, in the verse, the past there, Payuntan Daitan Tripat. Tripat means the enjoyer of all sacrifices, the enjoyer of all penances, and of all austerities. So it's put here. So it's going to be further narrated in the later verses. So the Moraditi, the mother of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu, at the time of the conception, so Kashyapa Muni had told Diti that she would give birth to 2 demoniac children, sons, and these demoniac these two demons, they will be the source of trouble for the demigods and for the whole universe. But, however, the Supreme Lord himself will come and kill them. They will be killed from the hands of the Supreme Lord. So actually, Diti, she was actually happy that, yes, I will give birth to 2 demoniac children, and they will be killed by the Supreme Lord. And why is she happy? Because when anybody who's killed by the Lord get liberation. Anyone who's killed by the Lord will get liberation. So therefore, the Diti, she wasn't too much disturbed by the fact that she's going to give birth to demoniac children, and who will be a source of pain for the devas, and the Lord is going to kill them. But she know that the Lord will give them liberation upon being killed. And of course, the Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, the 2 brothers, who were previously Jan Vijay. So they were simply acting on the supreme will of the Lord. Because a devotee who is surrendered to the Lord, a surrendered devotee to the Lord is ready to do anything if that will give happiness to the Lord. A devotee is ready to do anything. So a devotee will never complain or challenge the Lord's wish. It's like whatever the Lord wants him to do, he does. Especially those devotees who have developed love for the Lord. Just like Chaitanya Prabhu, he was praying that Asli Shiva Padam Pinastuman, Adashana Mama Atankaro Tuba, Yatataba Vidadatu Lampato, Maprana, Natatu Saivana Param. So whereby was praying that, my dear Lord, I do not, that if you like, you may make me happy by being present before me. Or you may make me distressed by not being present before me. But whatever your desire is, whatever your is a prana, not to say whatever you desire, simply submit to your will. So a devotee, that is a devotee's mode. A devotee's mode that yes, whatever the Lord desires for him, that it, that's what the Lord will do, because that's what gives happiness to the Lord. When Srila Rupa Goswami, he was describing what is bhakti, what is the nature of bhakti, what is the nature of devotional service to Krishna. He said, Anya Bilasita Sunya, Jnana Kamadi Anavritam, Anu Kuyana Krishna, no, Silana Bhakti Uttama. That a devotee is the one, somebody want to render service to Krishna, he gives up all other desires. Anya means all the desire. Sunya means negation. He negates all of that desire, everything. Like any desire that has to do with, karma, the fruitive activities, or that has to do with speculation, and, like a dry knowledge. For example, just like we are coming to Krishna consciousness, and we are learning so much philosophy, so much knowledge we are learning. But a devotee is not interested in any of this knowledge if it has no relation with Krishna. A devotee is interested in bhakti gyan, not just gyan. Jnana simply means dry knowledge. But any knowledge that will improve one, that will give one impetus to render service to Krishna, a devotee will pursue that. A devotee will pursue that, anything that will be an impetus. So when we are cultivating bhakti gyan, the knowledge of bhakti, two things should happen. One thing, there should be sense of detachment, dispassionate sense of detachment from this material world. That's one thing. And second thing is that our attachment to the Lord should increase. And we should have which means our heart should be very, very soft. Our heart should be very, very soft, so that the Lord will be happy to come and sit, on our heart. So if we are cultivating knowledge and we are not feeling any kind of detachment from this material world, so which means the knowledge is not registering with us. It's like we hear something from the one ear, and the same thing comes out on the other ear. We are reading so much philosophy book, we are reading so much, accumulating so much knowledge, we are accumulating, that we are not feeling sense of detachment from this world. Because this world is what binds us here, is what trapped us here. What trapped us in the repetition of birth and death. So we are so attached to it. And we are not feeling any kind of detachment from it, despite the fact that we are cultivating so much knowledge. So therefore, it's just a useless effort. Like Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he compared it to donkey. A donkey will carry so much heavy load, but the donkey only carries so much load just to get some little grass. So why should we be donkey of carrying so much knowledge on our head, and there is no change in our life? No change in our life. This change should be very, very practical. So, as Rupa Goswami is saying, Anya Bila Sita Sunyan, Gyana Kamadhyana Britam, Anu Kuyena Krishna, no. Anu Kuyena Krishna no means whatever will make Krishna happy. Silana Bhakti, Uttam, that's the supreme bhakti. It's like what make God happy, the God happiness. Even though sometimes we may have to do those things, which may look very, very ungodly. It may look very, very ungodly sometimes. For example, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Lord Krishna told Yudhishthira to tell lie. He told him to say, Yudhishthira, tell lie. And what is that lie? That Ashwatthama has been killed. Tell Yudhishthira to announce that Ashwatthama has been killed, because Ashwatthama was the son of Dronacharya. And Dronacharya was a great impediment for the Pandavas to attain victory on the battle of Kurukshetra. Dronacharya was a great impediment. So the only way by which Dronacharya could be killed is if he laid down his weapons. Because as long as he has his weapon, is invisible, undefeatable. But if he should lay down his weapon, then he could be killed at time. But Dronacharya will not do that. Will not lay his weapon. Will not lay his weapon. So then Lord Krishna he make announcement. There was actually Lakshmana to I think it was Bhima who made announcement that Ashwatthama Maro, Ashwatthama has been killed, Ashwatthama has been killed. Ashwatthama was the son of Dronacharya. What happened was that Ashwatthama, actually Bhima, he killed an elephant, and the name of that elephant was Ashwatthama. So Dronacharya said that I cannot believe Bhima that who just make announcement that my son Ashwatthama has been killed. I don't believe him. But if Yudhishthira said it, then I would believe, because Dronacharya know that Yudhishthira is the most honest person. He's the most truthful person. He never lied in his entire life. He never lied. He's the most honest, the most dharmic, the most highly religious person was Yudhishthira Maharaj. So the locations told Yudhishthira that, Yudhishthira, now you must lie, you must make an announcement that Ashwatthama is dead. But Ashwatthama is still alive. So this means he has to lie. So Yudhishthira Maharaj was kind of reluctant, but Krishna told him to say this. So surrender to the will of the Lord. So he said, he making some announcement, Ashwatthama. But he wanted to put some kind of qualification there. The Ashwatthama, he wanted to say the elephant is dead. But just after, when he said the Ashwatthama, and before I said the elephant, so Krishna blew his conch shell. He blew his conch shell. So when Yudhishthira said the elephant, so Dronacharya did not hear that. He simply heard that Ashwatthama, and then Yudhishthira say he's dead, and then so Dronacharya he believed Yudhishthira Maharaj, and then he gave up his weapon. He started meditation, and then what's his name? This Taduna, so he came and killed Dronacharya. But sometimes, if something may be unpleasant sometimes, that devotee have to do those unpleasant things that may even seem to be irreligious. That how can one do something that is counteract religious, that counteract the moral principles? How can one do that? But if that's what's going to please God, devotees are willing to do that. If that's what's going to please God, devotees are ready to do that. As a matter of fact, when Yudhishthira Maharaj, when he said that Ashwatthama has been killed, when he said that, previous to that, his horse never really touches the ground before. His horse never touched the ground. But after I said that Ashwatthama has been killed and Dronacharya was killed, so his horse touched the ground as a repercussion as a reaction to that apparent lie. In one sense, it's not that he lied because he actually said the elephant, but that's what you do not believe that, because you just said that my son is killed. So therefore, he believed that and then he submitted to give up his life. So sometimes it's again, it's what pleases the Lord. So therefore, when Mahaprabhu prayed Aslishava Padam Pinastumam, Arasanam Atan Karutuba, he thought about that Lampato Mapanato Sripata, my dear Lord, I don't mind if you make me broken hearted by not being present before me. I do not mind. Just as simply your servant, that's all. So these two devotees, they became demons. Jan Vijay, they became demons. Because this is the desire of the Lord. Actually, when the Kumaras, when they caused Jan Vijay to go to the material world and become demons, they could have easily counteract. They could have easily counteract that. They have actually their power is actually much more than the power of the Kumaras, because Jan Vijay, they are in the spiritual world. They are the Lord's associate. You know, they are the Lord Parika, the Lord's associate. So they are in the spiritual world. They could counteract the cause. No cause can actually affect them. But they choose not to do that. They choose not to counteract that cause, which have been given to them by the Kumaras. So when the Lord came to them, I said, my dear devotee, Jan Vijay, tell me, what will you want to do? What will you like? You want to go to them because now you've been caused by Kumaras now. Even though he saw the Lord's own will that these Kumaras, they're causing his own devotees. Again, it's not possible for anyone to do anything negative in the spiritual. This is the spiritual world. No negativity can happen in the spiritual world. But this is the Lord's desire. The Lord want to relish certain pastimes. So therefore, he allows his devotee, he uses his devotee as the instrument. He uses his devotee as instrument. So as he asked Jan Vijay that, my dear Jan Vijay, do you want to go to the material world 3 times as demons or 7 times as my devotee? So Jan Vijay is not, because Jan Vijay, they know the Lord's desire. They know that the Lord, if they don't go to the material world, how are they going to be able to, how is he going to be able to fulfill his wish to fight? How will he be able to fulfill it? So therefore, Jan Vijay said, dear Lord, we want to go to the material world 3 lifetimes as a demon. If we go to 3 lifetimes as a demon in the material world, in this way, your desire will be fulfilled. And that fight, when they came, that fight was not an ordinary fight as we've been hearing this fighting. Actually, the fight between Lord Varaha and Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha, the fight took a long time. Because the Lord had to release himself, the fight took 100 celestial years. 100 years, not one day. 100 celestial years, which was our 36,000 years, according to the earthly planet. So the Lord, he really enjoyed himself. He relished this fighting so much. He relished this. So in this way, the devotees, they fulfilled the Lord's desire. So first he came, fight Hiranyaksha. Now, and then later on, he fought Hiranyakashipu. Both of them formidable demons, formidable personality, and both of them, they gave immense fight to the Lord because that's what the Lord wants. So they gave the Lord immense, and the Lord was enjoying it. The Lord was not feeling any strain, anything like that. He was enjoying, he was enjoying. After all, what is the meaning of Lila? Lila means pleasurable activities. That's what Lila means. So Lila avatar, Vara avatar, Nashinga avatar, these are Lila avatar. Lila means enjoyable activities, and that's why sometimes this word Lila is sometimes misused. That we cannot use this word Lila to anybody, to any person. Only the Supreme Lord can we apply this word Lila to, because Lila is an activities that is done in a very, very pleasurable way, no strain whatsoever, and it's not conditioned by anything, just in a pleasurable way. As Prabhupada pointed in this purport to text 17, that yes, the Lord is enjoying himself with his, fighting with his devotees, who he had converted to a demon. He's enjoying himself. That is Lila. That's what we call Lila. Vilas, pleasurable activities. So it's a very, very wonderful thing that this topic of Irayaksha, which has been discussed. Of course, some devotees are enjoying it, but some are very, they were in anxiety because the demigods, they saw this fighting that was going on between Hiranyakshas and and Lord Varaha. And then so they were in so much anxiety. They were thinking that, oh, this Hiranyaksha, this demon, is going to slip away, and it's going to be, he's going to create a much trouble to the universe. Then, of course, later on, we're going to see the demise of Hiranyaksha. We're going to see the killing. We're going to see the killing of Hiranyaksha. So thank you very much for listening. Actually, before I start, I just finished another class at the temple, just about 30 minutes before I started this one. So today I'm giving back-to-back classes today. Okay. So Hare Krishna. So thank you very much for listening. If there's any question, you can please go ahead. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, as always, for rendering this service. Dear devotees, if anyone may have questions, comments, reflections, you may want to ask or share, please indicate by using the hand emoji or your physical hand, and you'll be asked to unmute to ask your question. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, in the, well, again, thank you so much. Okay, Mitravinda has a question, then I will ask mine. Mitravinda Devi, you may unmute. Hare Krishna.
Haribol, thank you so much for speaking today, Ishvara.
Hare Krishna, Mitravinda.
Thank you. I wanted to ask if you would possibly quantify the definitions of a demon in order to help us understand that we shouldn't just do things on our own that may be deemed as demoniac and think that this is what Krishna wants because it's our will or desire, just to keep us out of trouble. As I'm understanding, the true devotees or Vaishnavas are those written about in Shastra. And it doesn't necessarily apply to us in our stage, or I'll say myself.
Yeah, the demoniac actually is the mentality is pointed out in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 16. What is demoniac? In terms of the pride, anger, arrogance, it's mentioned in the Krishna mentioned that it pointed out the difference between divine principles and demoniac principles. the anger, arrogance, and all that, the pride. So, like he was mentioning that long time ago, the demons and the demigods, they used to live in different planets. The demons and those who are not demons. They used to live in different planets. And then as time goes by, then the demons and the demigods means devotees, those who have saintly qualities. So they used to live in the same planet, but different countries together, different countries. And then after both the demons and the demigods, they were living in the same country, but not but in different cities. And then again, after another period of time, the demigods and the demons, they were living in the same city, but not in the same household. And then then they begin to live in the same household. So within the same family, you find somebody who's demoniac, you find somebody who's of divine nature. And then it so happened that all of this, everything becomes so bad that both demoniac and divine principles living in the same body. So sometimes you can find that within ourselves, we can exhibit demoniac principles, demoniac symptoms, but sometimes we can exhibit, saintly qualities within ourselves. Like for example, let's say I'm a temple president and I want to see those who are under me to be submissive to me, that, oh, don't you know who am I? You don't listen to me. I'm going to show you my power. It's a pride, This is a part of demoniac principles, all these things. So, so we can actually judge, yes, if you read the, what's in the chapter 16 of the book, those demoniac principles, and we can try to see if those principles are within us or not. Now, and of course, those demons that the Lord Krishna fight with, or the incarnation of the Lord's fighting, those are not ordinary demons. Those are not ordinary personalities. They were this personality who are specifically commissioned by the Lord himself to come and be his adversary, whereby the Lord had to fight with them. And then, of course, it's for the Lord's own enjoyment. And those persons, and of course, they got their liberation and all that. But apart from that, the demoniac and the divine qualities, because it's divine qualities that enable us to develop love for God, love for Krishna. Whereas the demoniac symptoms, qualities, it takes us away from God. It makes us far away from God. So that's why we always have to be constantly checking those demoniac symptoms that we may have, like lust, anger, greed, all these things. So we have to be checking ourselves all the time. As Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had written in his book, Krishna Samhita, he had written that there's so many demons that Lord Krishna killed, like Putana, Chinavata, Agasura, Banabakasura. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur written that all these various demons, they represent a particular anarthas that a devotee may have. Anartha means bad quality. So, like being falsity, being envious, being greedy, being angry, so many things like that. So different demons that Lord Krishna killed, they are representatives of all these different qualities. And we have been instructed that if you want to be able to get rid of all these various anarthas, then we should simply meditate on those particular pastimes when Lord Krishna is fighting with particular demons. So that's what the acharyas, this is what they have instructed. So which means devotional life is like a day-to-day struggle, and that's why it's Bhakti Maharaj, he coined these things, spiritual warrior. Warrior means you are fighting with yourself, you are fighting with this thing. It's a constant struggle whereby you make sure that am I getting angry all the time? Am I jealous of others? Am I being lusty? Am I being proud? All these things. So which means it's a constant fighting. And the more we fight with this thing, and of course this fighting must be done in the association of devotees. We have to do this in association and then when we association of devotees, so the fighting it becomes easier to conquer the enemy. That enemy which is within us. It becomes easier to conquer those enemies. If it's done with, or else just being on ourselves is difficult. But it must be done with association of devotees, basically. So when you associate with the devotees, then it's easier to deal with those demoniac principles, the demoniac element that is within us. Easier. I hope that is okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Krishna.
Yes, it was excellent. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. I'd love
Thank
to
you.
see you. I'd love to see you in India again.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yeah, Prabhuji, thank you for the answer. Mitravina, thank you for the question. I have a follow-up follow-up question to Mitravina Devi's question about demons. And
Okay.
it is interesting from Srila Prabhupada's purport. That is the first verse we discussed today.
Mhm.
The very opening sentence. The fighting enjoyment of the Supreme Lord with his devotee, who had been converted into a demon. Oftentimes, it's the other way around. We want to convert a demon to become a devotee. But here, devotees have been converted to demons.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. Now, my question is, what do we learn from this? That
So
we trying to be devotees can also be converted into demons. But I believe if we get converted into demons, we're not going to be saved like the way Jai Vijay were saved, because those were done by the Supreme Lord. So how do we protect ourselves from being converted into a demon?
again, as I said in my lecture, that this is something that is according to the supreme will of the Lord Himself. This conversion was because the Lord want to fight, so He made His devotee into a demon. That's the only way he could fight with them. He made it into demon. So this is for the Lord's own enjoyment. His son. That's what I call it lila. But we, first of all, a devotee will never wish to become a demon. That's one thing. And a devotee will never wish that. And the Lord, of course, will never allow a devotee to become a demon, because demon means those who are opposed to Him. Those who are opposed to Him, those are the demons. But this case, this is a special case. That's in one of the purport of Srila Prabhupada in the episode of Jai Vijay and the third canto of Bhagavatam. Prabhupada wrote one line. He said, "It is a fact, no one far from the spiritual world. It's a fact." And there, Prabhupada wrote that line. So we have to have a very good understanding of this episode of Jai Vijay, and it will become demon. And many other Prabhupada refer them as devotee, just like the one they just read now. That devotee is having his fighting enjoyment with his devotee who he had converted into a demon. Because unless that devotee become a demon, how's he going to fight with the Lord? But this conversion was done because the Lord, this is His own will. This is His own desire. So, as I said, a devotee is simply surrender to whatever pleases the Lord. It's what pleases the Lord. This is Ano Kuyena Krishna Ano. Anukuyena means what pleases the Lord, what the Lord wants. A devotee surrender to that. Just like Arjuna did not want to fight, Arjuna was telling Krishna that, my dear Krishna, I don't want to do this fighting. But Krishna said, no, you must do fighting. So Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, and it told Krishna, this fighting must be done. And because Arjuna had been an instrument of Lord Krishna, so he agreed. Like, okay, I'm ready to do, tak I'm ready to do what according to what you say. I'm ready to do as you say. So that is the surrender. That's what we call surrender to the Lord. Again, it's a very, very grave topic, how a devotee can be converted to a demon and where we turn to be a devotee. So it's a very, very grave topic. And of course, the churches, they've made a lot of comment on this particular thing. They've made a lot of comment. The main thing is that, again, to repeat myself again, the devotee will do whatever the Lord wishes. We are acting according to the supreme wish, so the supreme will of the Lord. We are so devoted. That's how the instrument. Devotees simply see themselves as the instrument, and then we should be. That's a perfection. That's the perfection of the devotees. That's the perfection when you see yourself and you are ready to embrace that yourself as being an instrument of the Lord's wish. So otherwise, just to being a demon, it's not easy to be a demon. There's so many. This world is full of actually, practically everyone in this material is a demon, because anyone who's opposed to devotional service of the Lord is a demon. And anyone. So therefore we have to convert, we have to preach to them to become devotees. So that's some of the things.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. I had a second question, and you just highlighted the same question again in answering my question. And that is, as we're trying to be devotees, the most important thing is we do whatever the Supreme Lord asks us to do. Like you cited the example of Arjuna. Arjuna initially didn't want to fight, but Krishna wanted him to fight, so he had to fight. Now, the difference between that experience and what might be going on in my life or anyone else's life for that matter is that in the case of Arjuna and Krishna, Krishna was standing right in front of Arjuna. Arjuna could see him. I cannot see Krishna standing in front of me. I can say Krishna is speaking to me. And many people have said and continue to say the same thing, that I heard the voice of the Lord. The Lord asked me to do this. The Lord said I should do this. And it turns out it wasn't the Lord's voice. So how do we know that this is what the Lord wants me to do so that we do it?
Because oftentimes Maya is speaking to you, and you are thinking that this is Krishna speaking to me. You're actually hearing the voice of Maya.
Yeah.
It's only pure devotees who can hear Krishna.
Okay.
Only pure devotees, they can hear that sweet sound. I mean, we are conditioned so, and you are hearing some noise, some voice telling you to do something crazy, and you think that, oh, God is making me, to do this. It's Maya telling you that, not God. Some illusory thing. Because after all, pure devotional service is very, very rare.
Right.
It's very, very, it's very, very rare thing to consider oneself that, oh, I am hearing the voice of God. No. It's not, the pure devotional service is not that, it's not that cheap thing, it's not that simple thing. But we think that it's so cheap that, oh, I can hear Krishna talking to me. No. You can hear Maya talking to you, not Krishna talking to you. Because pure devotional service can be shown in the life of devotees. When you, in the life of devotees, is actually a really advanced person, who's actually somebody who's a lover of Krishna. How such a person becomes like the ornament of the world, the ornament of the universe. So it's not a cheap thing. You know, it's not. You cannot be so much attached to our senses. I'm thinking that, oh, God is speaking to me. So that when I do something crazy, I say, oh, I did it because God talked to me. You know, it's not that cheap. It's not that cheap.
Yeah.
Vara Prabhu, want to hear from you. You want to say
Thank you
something?
so much, Prabhuji.
Vara
Thank you.
Prabhu?
Please accept my humble all glory to Srila Prabhupada, all glory to your service, Prabhu.
I'll to
Thank you
you.
very much for the wonderful kata about Narasimha Leela. Why Sadi Prabhu was asking these questions? Something just going on in my mind. We often say that ultimately everyone is a devotee. Because that some people have forgotten. That sometimes we say like that, right? That ultimately everyone is a devotee of Krishna. Just that some are forgotten.
Yeah, by nature, yeah.
Okay. Then we also say that ultimately everything is good. So because whatever way one acts, finally it leads to what Krishna wants eventually. Eventually, everyone is playing a part in already, a predestined kind of things. So even the so-called demons, and I'm talking about the human demons, not the devotee playing the role of demons. Even the so-called demons, they are instrument in the hand of Krishna to attain certain purpose. So this kind of vision, I think that kind of vision, is that what the Uttamadhikari have, or is it a vision that we can all attain? If we are in true pure devotional service, we can just rise above, this duality of seeing good and evil, and see that everything ultimately is serving the Lord's purpose. And it's
of
a
course,
fact. I just want to hear your
pure devotee, he sees everyone as his devotee. He doesn't see the pure devotee, the automatically the first class devotee. He sees everyone is a devotee of Krishna. He sees everyone as devotee except himself. He sees the whole world is devotee. So therefore, a pure devotee automatically does not preach, because he doesn't see non-devotee, see everyone's devotee, so he does not preach. One cannot preach as a automatically one cannot preach as automatically. But if one wants to preach, when one start feeling the distress, when one start feeling having sad for the people in the world because they're not serving Krishna, so therefore then it comes down to the second, it comes down to Madhyan platform. Because in the Madhyan platform, a person can see devotees, he can see in a non-devotees, he can see those who are innocent. So, because he make like 4 categories of discrimination in like that. So automatically, a mathematical devotee, he preaches. Then he brings those who are innocent, so he brings them to Krishna consciousness. And of course, he avoids those who are demoniac, but those who are like innocent, which is majority of the world, so he preaches to them, so he can bring them to Krishna consciousness. But again, the automatically they cannot see that. They see everyone as devotee. They say, but except themselves, So most of the associates of Chaitanya Prabhu, they are like that. But when they want to preach, then they have to come down. They have to come down. Like in the in the Bhaktimeter when Gopal Kumar. So he was in the spiritual world, and he was with Lord Shiva. He was with Lord Shiva. He was having a conversation with Lord Shiva. So in the spiritual, so Lord Shiva was there along with Kartikeya, Ganesh, and the, all these associates. So when he was in there, and then Gopal Kumar, he saw certain personalities, they were coming. Certain personalities, they were coming from different directions, and they were going. He saw them going to the material world, going to different material universes. So Gopal Kumar, he asked Lord Shiva that these personalities, where are they going? Where are they going? Where are they going? So Lord Shiva explained that, well, this person is going to the four-headed universe, four-headed Brahma universe, where Lord Brahma has four heads. He's going to that particular universe. And this person is going to the universe that has an eight-headed Brahma. So in this way, Lord Shiva was pointing out why different persons are going. Why are they going there? Because they're going there to preach for the purpose of delivering the conditioned souls. So it means from oftentimes, the pure devotees, they will come from the spiritual world, the material world, just so that they can deliver the conditioned souls. And that's what we had in the person of Srila Prabhupada, who had to come with 11 Vrindavan, then went to America, went to the Western world to give Krishna consciousness. Even though everything was everyone was too much in the mode of passion and ignorance, but Prabhupada had to come, gave up his son Samadhi, and they come to the Western world to preach. The rest those who are devotees and those who are not devotees, then they come for preaching like that.
Yes, thank you, Prabhu. There's just one thing I want you to clarify.
Yeah.
We often hear, don't criticize. And I mean, from our understanding, those who are on that platform, they're actually Uttamadikari because they don't see a fault in anybody. They don't see the
Yeah.
faults. They don't discriminate. So
Mhm.
for them, they won't criticize anybody, right?
Yeah.
So, and then again, we say that for us to preach, we have to discriminate and we have to see the envious, we have to see the innocent, we have to see the pure devotee, choose our association rightly, and give our association to those who need and avoid certain. So if we are preaching and then we're telling those we're preaching to or to devotees that don't criticize, so we're actually saying that you should be on the Uttamadikari platform. But at the same time, we say, no, in order to preach, we have to discriminate. So aren't we making things difficult?
I mean, the general instruction is not to be fault finders, and that's the general instructions, because that actually helps us out when we don't see the fault in others. But if we're in a position of authority and we have to guide others, so obviously we have to see the fault, because if you don't see the fault, how are we going to guide them? How are we going to guide those who are similarly ignorant? So the fault finding is there, but that fault finding can only be done by the spiritual master or the person who's in the position of authority can do that. Otherwise, if one is not in a position of authority, if one is not a spiritual master of someone, and it's not just unnecessarily fault finding, then that fault finding may actually be injurious to the person who's looking for fault. I posted something some time ago about actually I posted something a few days ago about fault finding, whereby it mentioned that the person who is finding fault in you, that person would actually, take your sinful reactions sad person, we actually, like he become the one that take away your particular thought you may have. What if there's a sinful reaction? The person who's finding fault in you, he takes that. So therefore, I think one of the great person was saying that let the fault finders live near me. Let them live near me. Because the more they live near me, the more they see fault in me, and then the more I'll be purified. The more I'll be free. Because whatever action that accrue to you, that will go to them. So it's kind of like a dangerous affair in terms of fault finding. But if you are if you're in spiritual authority, otherwise, how are you going to guide others if you don't see the fault they have? How can we guide them? So, and that's why they always say that the position of a spiritual master is a very, very grave position. And that's why it is a spiritual master. Guru has to be heavy. Guru means heavy as a mountain, because he can see things and he can absorb things, you see. So, of
Yeah.
course, in the spiritual life, as they say, that ultimately in the spiritual life, that one has to learn how to fly his plane, as they say. So we have to really examine what is beneficial for our spiritual development. We have to examine that. And also sometimes, if there is no good association, then one should learn to live with oneself. If there's no good association, if there's no good association, otherwise, one should always look for the good association. If there's no good association around, then it's not that, okay, I need any association I can find. No, one shouldn't do that. Because if you just live with any association, then you can what do you call it? You can be overcome with bad qualities of others. So you have to deal with only those who have positive attitude, those whose characters are always on the upward let's say, platform, like that. So spiritual life, as they say, is like a razor's edge. Like Sanatana Goswami said that. He said spiritual life is like a razor edge. And if one is not very careful, one can always be cut. But just like we men, we shave our face every day. So if you don't pay attention, you get cut. So similarly, also spiritual life is like that. It's like a razor edge. If you don't pay attention to that, we can always get affected by it. So this thing has to be very, very careful, And that's why devotee have to be thoughtful, have to be, grave, thoughtful all the time. Be very, very grave and thoughtful. Prabhupada said that many, many times,
Yes. Prabhuji, thank you very much. Just last point. So I can understand that a guru, an authority, can see the faults and point it out
Yeah,
because he's doing it for the benefit of his disciple or those who are under him. So it's a
yeah,
kind of benevolent kind of criticism or benevolent type of fault finding, because
yeah,
he's the one who's supposed to help that disciple to get rid of his weaknesses or anarthas. And so that's understandable. But then there's
yeah,
another point to it. So if you are not an authority, you're not a guru, but then the scripture says, Christian scripture said, be your brother's keeper.
yeah,
Be your brother's keeper means you see your brother going the wrong way. So you do all what you can to direct him properly. Now that can be taken as an attack. You're trying to help the person uh, uh, because he's going to regret what he's doing. And you're pointing it out to him, and then he's seeing it's an attack. So do we take the kind of impersonal mood? Well, I'm not his guru, I'm not his authority. Well, that's nothing I can do. wouldn't that destroy our society? So
Yeah,
there
I
must be a
mean,
reason. There must be a reason why they say you should be your brother's keeper.
yeah, we have to be
Yeah.
brother keeper, but we have to be well-wisher of all living entities. And also, if we see somebody is doing the wrong thing, first of all, we have to make sure that our wife trying to correct that person is not being born out of jealousness, out of envy. Because sometimes people just criticize because of envy. It's not because they want to correct you. They're just because they're envious of you. So that is there. So therefore, when you are a genuine well-wisher of someone, and you are and that person is going wrong, and you are pointing out, but you are pointing out with a genuine concern, not that, oh, because you are doing something wrong, I'm so angry with you because what you are doing is wrong, this and that. I just want to criticize. You want to see how that person can be brought to justice. So the person will not see you as a well-wisher. The person will see you as an enemy. So even though you may have a good intention, but because the way you are going about it, the person is not seeing that way. So how do we avoid this? So we basically we have to pray to the Lord for that person, because if I'm not in a position to help someone, if I'm not help someone, so then I cannot criticize. I cannot find the fault in that person. I can only find the fault in the person if I'm in a position to help that person. If I'm not in a position to help, what's the point of me criticizing? And that will simply make me become an enemy of that person. The person will simply see me as an enemy, not as a well-wisher. And this is what I've seen, all the time since my life in Christian constant in this for 40-something years now. So it's like, we want to, because sometimes we take so much pride and to say, oh, this is what is doing wrong. Yeah, yes. Sometimes we want to make somebody want to believe to someone. This, oh, this person is doing it. Even though the person may be full of bad quality, but when the person see everyone pointing so much finger at him, so what happened is that he becomes discouraged. And then, bloop, he leave. He leave the organization. He leaves the society of devotees. So the person leave association of devotees because of our criticism. So what have we achieved? We haven't achieved anything. Well, let's Bhaktivedanta said that one should be ready to shed 8 gallons of blood in order to make someone a devotee. To shed 8 gallons of blood to make someone a devotee. Because in this matter, we are full of faults. Who's free of fault here? We are full of faults. Oceans of faults. Yeah. But a genuine well-wisher will be ready to shed gallons of blood to put his life online to help someone, to help somebody to overcome difficulty, to help someone, But unfortunately, many of us are not like that. Majority of us are not like that, and that's what is affecting the society, So,
Well, Hare Krishna, thank you so much, especially Shrimad Prabhu, for these all important questions, and Ishara Prabhu, thank you for the responses. But I know some people go to the beaches and they look for metals. They have metal detectors, and
okay.
they look for metals. And the reason they do that is because usually when one goes to the beach, you go to the beach bare feet. So nobody wants anybody to go to the beach and get cut by some metal. So they do that. So these metal detectors will detect a metal, they will dig it, and then they will get it out. But there are many people who go to the beach not looking for metals, but they come upon metal. And when they come upon metal, if they are kind people, nice people, they'll remove it, put it somewhere else.
Yeah.
And so there are people who are looking for faults in others. That is very unfortunate. But if it comes upon you that somebody is saying, doing something which is wrong, and you address it, then there is a problem. Now, it's very interesting. You cited one devotee saying that I want all the fault finders to be next to me because they're going to help me. Those who are genuine, as harsh as it may be, I believe they don't care very much how much people find faults in them, if the so-called fault finding is going to help them improve. Now, if we should do statistics, I believe since ISKCON is also in this material world, it's not different from any organization in this world in terms of material organization, we will see that what constitutes people leaving us is not of criticism, but it is of neglect. People see people going through certain situations, and like ISVARA PRABHU was saying, he says, I'm not the guru, I'm not the authority, I cannot say anything, I cannot do anything. And then we move our eyes. These are the major reasons that make societies leave members. And I'm saying we haven't done, I don't know, maybe somebody has done the statistics, but I am thinking that neglecting deviations, neglecting humiliations, neglecting anything contrary to what Srila Prabhupada has given us actually causes more harm than quote-unquote criticism. That is my belief. But
Yeah,
and I try not to criticize
actually,
unnecessarily.
the
Okay.
major thing is a proper call it Ridayan was Ridayan the weakness of the heart. The weakness of the heart is the major thing that causes someone to leave the association of devotees. When we are very, very weak ourselves, and we are not really strong to withstand the atrocities of Maya, or the weapons that Maya is throwing at us. Because constantly Maya will always be constantly throwing weapons at you all the time, which could be in the form of people criticizing you, or it could be a form of attraction to, opposite sex, or attention to money, so many things like that. So it's largely is due to the weakness of the heart. That's called Dulaba Ridaya, which means when the heart is very weak, then of course that's the main reason why a person found out, oh, outside is better than this place. So again, as Labak to say that when we see ourselves as a genuine well-wisher of all living entities, and we have to be in a position to, to shed gallons of blood to help others. And if we're not able to do that, then we should be mindful of our own bhakti. If you're not in that platform whereby we can really sacrifice to help others. If you're not ready to do that, then we should be mindful of our own bhakti and do things as is instructed to do. So that's anyway. That's in terms of sharing the balance of that is actually the position of preachers, because the preachers, they have to have such power in order to be able to, in order to be able to help others. The great preachers. But this finding fault in others, again, as I mentioned before, that we have before we can find fault in others, we have to make sure ourselves we don't have there's no jealousness. It's not because I'm not envy this person. I'm envy this person, so therefore I find fault in him. So that's why I'm because of my own jealousness, because of my own altar. And that's normally what happens. Because we want to belittle someone, so therefore we find fault in him. But of course, association of devotee should not be like that. But of course, when we are on your fight and we don't associate with each other, then there's all kinds of problems. And that's why it mentioned that we should always seek the association of advanced devotees, those who are advanced than us. We should seek the association and be with the great devotees. That's what will help us out. This fault finding to be a minor thing, actually, if there's a great association. Because a great devotee, first of all, he sees himself as the one who's faulty. He doesn't see fault in others anyway. So it's again, I know that some who are listening, some are like manager. I'm not a manager, I'm just a preacher. So, and this is what we have to, this is what we have to see basically,
Yeah.
I can only give advice. I can only give advice, based on the authority of the scriptures. That's it.
Yeah. Govinda, Prabhu, you may unmute.
Ansaduta, is that Ansaduta?
Yes.
Govinda
Yeah.
first.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ishwara Prabhu. My respectful obeisances to you and my obeisances to the devotees. Prabhu, my simple question is about our leaders. Our leaders, not leaders of ISKCON, but in every country there is a leader, president.
Yeah.
And looking at what these presidents, some of them are doing, we can understand clearly that, yeah, no, it's not me. Thank you. It's over there. Yeah, here. Sorry, Prabhu. We can understand clearly. You see, those days when one is a king, when someone is a king, that person is like a representative of God, of Krishna.
Yeah.
So we have a Rajasis, and they make sure that every living entity who are residing in his kingdom is happy.
Yeah.
And if anything goes wrong with that living entity, to the extent that if someone even die prematurely under such king, that king is questionable.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see King Prithu, we see Prashit Maharaj, his reaction to Kali, and many more, that
Mm-hmm.
they were very, very strict, making sure that their citizens are happy.
Yeah.
Now, this our president we're seeing today, we can see clearly they are looting the resources of these countries, and the citizens are suffering like hell.
Yeah.
We see Kinvena, when Kinvena was causing so much atrocities, the demigods have to, the Brahmanas have to, put their powers together and eliminate him. And
Yeah.
we see Krishna coming down to kill the demons because they were causing harassment to the society.
Mm-hmm.
So why is it that this, our president today, we see clearly what they are doing to their citizens, and they have occupied the power, the seat, and you cannot move them and they are not helping, and they themselves, they know that their people are suffering, and they don't care. They don't care. So I'm wondering why Krishna is not eliminating these people. Is it because of these citizens' karma that they have to attract such president for them to suffer their reactions? Or what? Why is Krishna not eliminating this president, but he allows them to enjoy to their fullest, evacuate a seat, and still live until their natural death? Why
Now,
is it like that?
when you're talking about president, which country? America, Ghana, Nigeria?
I'm talking of Ghana,
All
most
over
of
the
the
world,
African countries, all over the world.
everywhere.
We are seeing these things. It's
So,
clear.
so the point is this: is the people who elect the presidents. People want sense gratification. Generally, people are foolish themselves, and then they elect a bigger fool to be their president. So everything is all based, it's all done according to the sense gratification. So because this person is making promise that he's gonna get me this, he's gonna give me that, give me so therefore you vote for him. So if people who are foolish themselves and then they're choosing another fool among themselves, and then they make him president. So that is the nature of Kali Yuga. That's what Kali Yuga is all about. As I said, Kali Yuga Nide Rajan, that Kali Yuga, it has taken away all the good qualities of men. What is democracy? Democracy simply means democracy. It's a crazy society of demons. That's what that's what it's a democracy simply means democracy. All the presidents, they're not ordained by God. It's the people themselves who have chosen their own leader. So because they've chosen their own leader, so they have to suffer for it. Because the leader is only interested in his own self gratification, what is good for him, his family members, his associate, So, and that is going, it doesn't matter who they elect. Every 4-8 years, they electing someone, another person. And when they don't like when that person, because that person is only coming just to serve the particular self-interest. So he gets thrown out, and another person is elected, and the person is elected is just as bad as the person they just thrown out. And that goes on. Many of us here who have been around for almost 70 years now, many of us, in our life, have you ever seen a real president who is actually, yes, is actually for the people. It's actually for the people. People are very, very happy. There's been no such in our life. So we can only something that we've read in the book. Something we've read in the book. Oh, during the period of this particular king, the world was good, everyone was happy. We can only something because something that we've only read in the book. So in Kali Yuga, because this is Kali Yuga, Krishna has nothing to do with it because everyone is just simply pursuing their own sense gratification. So therefore, that's why the Lord sent the Sankirtan army, the devotees, to go and preach just in order to check the advance of Kali. All the so-called presidents, they're all agents of Kali. And what is Kali? What is the domain of Kali? The domain of Kali is where there is gold, where there is prostitution, where there is illicit sex, where there is gambling. That's the domain of Kali. And every country is all domain of those 4 things, those 4 vices. And that's why you find Kali. So devotees, it's only when they preach whereby they can try to check the advance of Kali. So Krishna has no time for that. So therefore, Krishna, he tells devotees, you just go and preach. Just go and do what you can and preach. So don't be hopeful that, there'll be a time when the world is going to get better. No, don't be hopeful at all. The world is not going to get better. No, that whereby the whole world society will simply be full of devotees. No, the world's not going to get, because this is the material world. This is material world. And especially when Kali Yuga. In the previous ages, things were very, very nice. In Kali Yuga, and in Satya Yuga, 100% of the people were saintly in Satya Yuga. And in Strata Yuga, 3/4 of the populace were saintly. In Dwapara Yuga, 50% were saintly. In Kali Yuga, hardly 25% are saintly, hardly 25%. Hardly 25% are saintly, hardly. So we're in the age of Kali. And it's not going to get better at all. Of course, as the Prabhupada said, that the Sankirtan movement was supposed to go on for the next 10,000 years. But after that, things will just get much worse. You read the 12th canto of Bhagavatam, the predictions are made. The predictions of Kali Yuga is made in the 12th canto of Bhagavatam. Where by the time we come, when the saintly person will not be able to live in the cities anymore, people will run to the forest. We run to the forest the time we come. Where you actually run to the forest. So don't forget that. Don't be hopeful at all. Just preach it. Whoever you meet, you tell them Krishna consciousness, give them some books to read. That's just the only way. That's just the only way. There's just no other way.
Dangerous times.
Yeah, it is dangerous time. It's always been Kali Yuga is a dangerous time.
Well,
let us preach to the leaders. I know we used to do that before. I don't know if I remember there was a time when I was in America. That time, Slabakisha Maharaj, he used to send myself, one of the devotees. We used to go to the United Nations. Yeah, Washington D.C.
Yeah,
and also the United Nations in New York. We used to go there and preach to the diplomats and all that. So if devotees, they can increase, they can do those kind of preachings again. Maybe we can try to, meet some of the leaders. We can try to do that.
Hare Krishna.
Anyway.
Oh, Prabhuji, I know your time is kind of late, but you prepared a very delicious soup. Everybody wants to drink it. We have 2 hands up. Anadi Nidanam is here. Anadi Nidanam, Prabhu, you may unmute. I think Hamsadrita also had his hand up, but I think his hand got tired and dropped. Anadi Nidanam, you may unmute, please.
Thank you. I think let's respect the etiquette. I can let Harichakra Prabhu come first. I think let's go by the rule.
Harichakra Prabhu, you can ask.
Okay, Harichakra Prabhu.
No, Anali Dinaram, you ask your question. I'll come.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you for giving me the chance. Okay, Hare Krishna. So yeah, Prabhu, thank you very much. It's late your time, but you are still here. So thank you. So Prabhu, my question is, Lord Narasimha Dev advent here in the material world as a result of Prahlad was offended by his father. So my simple question is there any window by which we can say a guru has offended his disciple?
What do you mean? That's a wrong question. How can guru offend disciple? Unless guru become demoniac. And if a guru become demoniac, they want to reject that guru. However, there's no such a thing as a guru offended the disciples now. Now, if his disciples are thinking that he's better than the guru, then there's no more guru-disciple relationship. So there's no more good guru-disciple relationship if the disciple feels that oh, my guru is not what I thought it was. And that time the scripture recommend that if one discover that one's guru is not as one thought he was, then one can renounce that guru and seek shelter of a higher guru. The scripture said that. And also the
Okay.
scripture said that if you take a guru who is not qualified, who is not really to devotees like of demoniac nature, you go that guru and the disciple, both of them will go to hell together. If you accept such guru, you both go to hell together. So you have to be very, very careful of which
Well,
guru you are.
Prabhuji, if I may attempt to redress Anadinidan Prabhu's question, and I'm thinking of why he's asking this question, because in the scriptures it says that if one cannot deliver his dependents, he should not become someone to be dependent on, and it gives examples like mother, father, teacher, king, guru, like that. So sometimes
so this is from Lord Shabadev.
okay.
One should not become guru if one cannot deliver one's dependent. Guru, father, king, or many things like that. That if one cannot deliver one's dependent.
Yeah, so in the same spirit, in the same light, it is said that one has to take time and be very judicious in picking who his or her guru would be. So I think you answered the question because one, it is kind of offensive to think that the guru has offended the disciple. But I believe it is also a possibility that the guru, unfortunately, which is kind of rare, may also act in such a way that the disciple may have to disown him, which, like you rightly said. So I think that is where his question was coming from.
Yeah, as I say, if a guru become demoniac, which means no more devotional mentality, then one should renounce that guru.
Yeah.
And take shelter of another of higher guru.
Yeah.
So the scripture said that.
Okay. So thank you. Hari Chakra Prabhu, please you may unmute.
Yeah, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay. Dandava Pranam Prabhu, thank you very much for the in-depth explanations that you've given us. But I'm backtracking a little bit to the question Varaha Prabhu was asking, and Sadev Prabhu also gave some follow-up about trying to correct someone and the person sees it as being you being offensive and all that thing, which we talk about so much. Practically, I'm talking of practice, how practically I've realized that even in our ordinary families, sometimes you'll be doing something, and your wife or maybe your child will try to address it. Initially, you might take an aggressive position, trying to think, who are you to correct me? But most of the time, you sit down, after a while, you sit down, you analyze, and it hits you. The reality hits you that whatever they were saying was perfectly true. But sometimes, most of the time, what do? Instead of killing our ego and trying to actually learn from whatever they have told us, correct the issue, we let our ego overpower us, and we take an aggressive position, either to disrespect them, and so many things. And personally, I'm realizing this thing is happening in our movement so much. And instead of people taking the opportunity to, fall back, go deep within themselves and getting the realization that whatever such and such a person might have said is true. No, nobody does that. All they do is that you are being offensive. This one is a junior devotee who how dare he talk to me. This one is somebody who I even think he's not even following properly. How dare he talk to me like this? I hardly see people going back, reflecting on whatever has been said to them, and trying to actually see sincerely from their heart whether whatever they heard was true or not. But most of the time, it's always true. Most of the
So,
time.
yeah, I understand you.
Yeah. So I think it's a very serious issue among in our movement now, and that if we don't take care, we can never make progress. All what people will do is like we will be like the ostrich, always try to hide our head and say that the thing is not even happening, whilst we know definitely it's happening.
Again, spiritual life is very, very personal thing because we have this material body, and this material body is ocean of thoughts. That's why we have the material body. It's full of thoughts. And so long we have this body, the thought will always be there. So which means anything we do, some thought will always, come out of it, by which people can always, point finger. So and of course, what we seriously want to make advancement, when somebody criticize him or somebody finds something that he's not doing. So a serious devotee who's sincere to make advancement will not fight against it, will accept it. That, oh, thank you very much, what you have pointed out. Then generally, we are generally, let's say, this is like we say 99% of us, the first ego is there, that, oh, who are you to try to tell me, trying to fight for me, or trying to tell me what I'm doing wrong? What is like, that question is, who are you, especially if you're in a position of authority, or if you're, if you're a so-called senior and all that. Like I remember one of our presidents here in India, something was going on in temple. And then I pointed to him and said, "Prabhu, this is not good. This is not wrong. This is something that Honorable has pointed out." So immediately the president said he was so angry. He said, "Oh, you don't like it? Okay, you want to be president? Okay, you can be the president." So immediately got into the defensive mode. So I realized that, well, this person, he doesn't want to be corrected. He rather take aggressive. So therefore, I said, okay, why would I be wasting my time trying to correct this situation? So, as I said, spiritual life is like a razor edge, and the more we the more we actually desire our own advancement, then the more we start seeing things that maybe something is not even worth commenting upon, unless someone is ready to take the criticism and act on the correction. Then I would say that let not waste our time in trying to criticize the person, trying to point out the fault. After all, the same fault may also be in us also. The same fault will always be in us. So that is, this is what always been the common problems among the devotees. So therefore, as I was mentioning to PRABHU, that let us limit the point of criticism, let us limit that to the authorities. Those who are the authority, let us limit that to them. If you're a guru or the temple authority, because such persons, they are not, whatever they are doing is not out of envy, it's out of concern, it's out of genuine it's out of genuine concern for the person and make the person well. So therefore, they can point out what the person is doing wrong so that they can correct the person. So if you are not ready to correct someone in a very well-wishing way, then don't let us do not find fault. Otherwise, what's going to happen is that our mind will be agitated because we know that we are finding fault and the person is not getting changed. The person simply taking offense to what we are saying. But what's going to happen is that we're getting agitated. We're getting agitated. And why are we getting agitated? Because we think that we are the controller. Krishna is the controller, we're not the controller. You know. Now, you can find fault by be totally disconnected. Be totally disconnected from it. I see what's going on. This is not good. I point it out. And I'm not attached to if any corrections is made or not. I'm not attached to it. The fun is that we are not the controller. Krishna is the controller. So the point is that what is going to give me sanity? I have to always take that into consideration. What is going to give me sanity? So that when I chant, when I do my service, I'm not being disturbed. I'm not being disturbed when I'm doing my service. So if I find that if I want to point out what is wrong in someone, and it just becomes, anyway, so again, spiritual life is like a razor edge, and we have to learn how to apply it. So Sanatana Goswami, this is one of the first few verses in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, that spiritual life is like a razor edge. It must be applied very, very tactfully. Otherwise, one gets caught, right? One gets caught, So that is just, I'm talking based on my own experience, basically. I'm talking based on what I've cultivated over the years, That's a thing.
Well, thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hamsadita, do you still have something to ask? We've missed you for a while. Otherwise, we will say Hare Krishna for Prabhu to...
Yes, Hare
Okay,
Krishna,
go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Hare Grace. Thank
Hare
you.
Krishna.
Please can you accept my respectful obeisances, all glory to Guru Shri Prabhupada, and all glory to wonderful and sound devotees. I'm very, very fortunate to be here today. I'm missing the class for a very, very, very long time. Yes, I came late, but I heard Prabhu explaining something which I also want to ask this question. So, Your Grace, you said something about if somebody is doing something wrong and you cannot help the person, you don't have to talk about it. And so my question is that maybe, for instance, we the young ones, new devotees or neophytes, we look up to the senior devotees to learn from them, for them to guide us because they know more than us. And you see this person is doing something which is wrong, and what he is doing, you get worried, not because you are jealous of him, but you get disturbed about what people are saying, some kind of insult and everything. And it really affects you because if you love somebody and somebody was saying some sort of bad things about this person, it also affects you. And it keeps going on. So even what is going on, not only devotees talk about it, people who are not devotees complaining, and even to extend that they say, a lot of recreational people, they don't behave this way, they don't do all these things. So in your position, how can you help this person where this person, you even looking up to this person to help you or guide you? And how can you not talk about this? Because if you didn't say it with words, in your mind, this thing stays there. So how can somebody deal with this situation like this? This is my humble question, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, of course, this kind of question comes all the time. Basically, we have to have someone in our life that, when I say someone in our life, we need someone who is like very, very senior, advanced to us, advanced, who is more advanced than us. Somebody that we can really confide into, someone that we can take into confidence. Whereby when some of this issue comes around, that you can always ask that person that, what is the opinion of that person? You ask that person, you can really confide into someone that this is something that you feel is abnormal, that is going on, this is abnormal. So which means like, which means in this way you can avoid direct confrontation with the person you still like, maybe it's doing something that is abnormal, that is wrong. I mean, just like, you know, in the conference, we read so many bad things that is going on with this person, that person, you know, it's like a common day affair, you know. So there has to be someone that we can confide in, you know, who we know that person can give us genuine advice, so that in this case, you see something is not right, you say that, my dear Prabhu, I'm seeing this. What is your opinion on this? What is that? And then we should be ready to accept the guidance of that person. If the person said, don't worry about it, do not think about it, just overlook it, then accept it. But so really, we have to have someone in our life who will be like our Siksha Guru, that we can take, you know, this, you know, we can take into confidence when these kind of issues, when these kind of issues are right. You know, that's that, you know, in that way we can have peace. We can have peace within ourselves. Otherwise, the agitation will never stop. Agitation will never stop. Because we seem to be concentrating on, oh, this person is like this, he's doing this, he's doing this, he's doing this, you know. So that will never stop. And the way the Maya work is that once we find one fault, another fault will come in, another will come in, another one will come in. And that's the way the Maya works, you see. So again, we have to desire our own auspiciousness. We have to desire it. So let us find someone who is genuinely advanced devotee, advanced person, advanced caring devotee, that we can take that person into confidence to be our guide, and then who we can liaise with, we can take into confidence, we can take advice from, like that. So that's basically the only advice I can give in that issue. This question
Yes,
comes.
thank you. Thank you
Okay.
so much. I'm so grateful for this wonderful answer, and also thank you always for being here always. Thank you so much, because I was thinking it's very late to time and you have been here, so I didn't want to disturb you, but thank you for taking my answer. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Govinda wanted to say something?
Yeah, Prabhu. Prabhu, thank you very much. These answers coming is really helpful, but at the same time, it is very, very difficult. It is really, really difficult. That means we have to become like a Jara Barat. We have to become like, you know, though we have eye, but we don't see, we have ears, but we cannot hear. And just concentrate
It's not like we don't see, we don't hear.
upon our own selves.
Yeah, that's better.
This is really, really, really difficult. It is true, Prabhu. It is true that, when we started chanting the Hare Krishna before our first and second initiations and all that, we were not thinking about anybody. You were not concerned about the management, what somebody is doing, and you were very, very happy. You were very, 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 very happy. You know, the child starting school, in the school days, the students are very happy because there's no expenses. They've not entered into the real grounds. They've not started paying bills and all that. And so they were very happy. But as soon as you enter into the real world and we start facing the real life, then that's where the problem comes. So are you saying that we think we have graduated, and so we have to correct, we have to see the mistakes, we have to see the faults? Is this the reason why we are not progressing? Is this the reason why we are not happy in our Krishna consciousness? Shall we be like a Jada Bharat, like a dump? We've seen, but we've not seen. We don't know nothing. Just to keep quiet, keep shout. It's really difficult, Prabhu. How do we go about this?
If you see the story of Jada Bharat, when he was, he was very, very calm.
Yeah.
When he was told to look over the farm, he simply sat. Even though the animals were coming to eat the crops, he was not even protecting, but just simply sat. He was doing his meditation.
Mm.
And then when he was asked to carry the king, he carried the king's palanquin. He carried it. He did not. But at the same time, then he was avoiding the ants on the ground. He didn't step out. And then the king chastised him that, oh, you're so strong and you cannot see properly. And then Jada Bharat, when he felt when he felt the sense of, he saw that this king should be heard. And then he spoke in a way that got the king reflecting. He spoke in a way that got the king reflecting, and then the king realized that, oh, this person is a great Mahabhagat. And then the king got up and they started asking Jada Bharat question. But if you see the way Jada Bharat addressed the king, he did not address him that, in terms of trying to chastise the king that hold you to change your way. But he addressed it in such a way that got the king thinking. So similarly, also a devotee has to be thoughtful, has to be experts in their terms of approach. When there's a kind of when there's a kind of adversary, and the expert in terms of address, how to address the situation so that I can get this person thinking this way. So that normally, most of the time, we don't do that. Most of the time, we don't do that. So we should just study that approach of King Bharat. I mean, it's a good thing that you brought that, that question of King Bharat thing. So it's not that, okay, because we cannot be like King Bharat. I mean, King Bharat was a person of great self-realization. He was a Mahabhagavat, King Bharat, But the approach he had towards King Rahugana, that approach, how he got to instruct King Rahugana, how King Rahugana, he understand his fault. So how do we reach that point? So that's what we have to study in that, which means we speak in a way that is truthful, but at the same time not offensive. Speaking truthfully, but at the same time, the person does not feel challenged by it. So how do we do that? It all depends on our expertise. How do you speak truthfully, and at the same time it's not offensive to someone? So the person does not feel offended by what you are saying. So your expertise, your own genuineness within yourself, that has to be there.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. We are very grateful for so many reasons. It's so late, your time, and you're still here with us. You just stepped in to speak this past Thursday, Lord Nishim Hadev's appearance day. We are eternally grateful
Well, it's 11 p.m. here.
Yes, it's 11 p.m. your time. So, dear devotees, we're humbly requesting you all to kindly unmute yourselves, and we all chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra to express our deepest appreciation and gratitude to our revered speaker, His Grace Ishwara Prabhu, for sharing his love and wisdom with us all. Please be all unmute. Jai. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Pancha Kalpa Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Grace Ishwara Prabhu ki jai. Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Assembled Vaishnava Vaishnava devotees ki jai.